They have also asked me to host a panel where two brands are going to be able to come up here, and we're going to be able to ask them some questions and find out how these and other things are working in their companies. I've had the chance to spend a little bit of time with these two women. I'd like to go ahead and invite them on the stage. Sophia Giussani from BHFO. She is their Director of E-Commerce and Digital Marketing. And Steph Stone from Glow Skin Beauty. Oh, we've got some chairs. Thank you, brother. I'm okay. I'll sit here and we'll put them there. Awesome. Perfect. And Steph Stone of Glow Skin Beauty. She is their VP of, here you go, sweetie. And I will sit over here. Oh, thank you. Oh, I get one too. Thanks, Christina. So these ladies are where the rubber meets the road for their brands. They are over e-commerce and digital marketing for them. And I don't need my clicker anymore. I'll just set it over here on the floor. I've had the chance to talk with them a couple of times, and wow, you guys are amazing. If you want to meet amazing people after this event or during this event, you want to talk to these two. Oh, thank you. So I'm curious. Each of you can answer in whichever order you like. How did all of the shenanigans from Facebook and iOS affect you and your companies over the last 12 months? Steph, let's start with you.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I think you touched on a lot of the points that we were really struggling with too at Glow Skin Beauty, is just like understanding how attribution was going to work, understanding what kind of return we were actually getting on our, specifically Facebook ads, right? That was one of the biggest channels that we were spending into prior to all of the changes, where we were achieving, you know, a $4 like ROAS, which drastically plummeted to like under 1, right? And so it's like, whoa, are we actually generating less? Is this kind of the change in attribution? And like, you know, where do we kind of go from here? And so I think that was one of the really big challenges that we were facing. And then also, I mean, it's not only on the Facebook side, but also on the email side, right? So like inflated open rates, kind of trying to understand who is even engaging with us in a meaningful way, other than just clicking our emails, right? Because that's the only like hard data we would have there now for Apple users. And so just navigating that.
It's a disaster. What about you, Sophia?
Well, very similar actually. So both iOS 14 and 15, they really changed the scenario. We had to reinvent virtually the way we were doing marketing, especially for mid and lower funnel. There's always been, Facebook for me has always been very good. Whereas, as you mentioned, now for me, I'm not even investing in that part of the funnel. I'm just going upper funnel. Again, thinking, I believe I'm back in the 90s when I'm broadcasting something out there. Who is seeing my ads? I don't really know. So I have considerably reduced the budget to, you know, that I'm putting towards Facebook. And I've been exploring different mediums, and it's working, but yes.
So Sophia, you say you're exploring different mediums. What are you finding? You say you're reducing budget on Facebook, which is fine. A lot of people are. What are you finding to replace it? Where are you going for new customers today?
Well, obviously, Google for me is always a great medium, but also I have put more money behind programmatic. We are now exploring connected TV. We are on, I keep on saying Shopify, but it is Spotify. So, you know, advertising on Spotify, we're just really trying everything. It's a little bit more expensive to be on connected TV. Obviously, you need a 4K video. It's an investment, but it's working very well for us.
Very good. Yeah. So you're just like going old school. You're just out there.
Yeah, but at least I know I'm not broadcasting, because even though I'm connected TV, but I can pick and choose who can see my ads. And because it's not skippable, they are forced to see it. So it's a mix of old-fashioned, but very much targeted and modern. So I'm loving it, yeah.
Thank you. Steph, what about you? How are you getting new customers these days?
So, I mean, we are as well still using Google, and especially leaning into YouTube, because we already have content that's relevant for YouTube advertising. And so we've been finding efficiencies there. And again, in beauty, we can be very targeted. We kind of know the type of demo that we're going after. And I mean, we still are using Facebook for acquisition strategies. And what's been really effective for us is leaning into clinical studies, going into like the hard data of, you know, efficacious products. What's in it for you, right? We really focus on that from an acquisition perspective, because if someone doesn't know our brand, you know, we can do the soft sell, which we've tried. We've done the brand story, but really we found efficiencies in just like getting straight to the point. Like, this is the results you can expect.
So you're a full skincare line, right?
Yeah, so we have mineral makeup, and then we also have kind of professional grade skincare. Okay,
and so it sounds like what you just said is that you're just getting right to the point of what you can deliver to them, like what they can expect.
Right.
How have you found that? So are you, as you've evolved, have you found that you're bringing more clarity to that kind of communication, or what are you doing to get that point across? Because that's hard. It's hard to go from, hey, look at our stuff, to here's what you can expect, to buy it, right? How are you connecting those dots?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we are just, like I said, kind of really putting the data front and center. We're also leaning into more like UGC content. So both the social proof side of things as well as the clinical side of things. So kind of marrying those, like, here's what you can really expect. And also everyone is using it, you know, kind of a thing. And so that's kind of what we've been doing.
Very cool. Thank you. Sophia, your company, it's a fashion outlet, right? So like designer clothing at discount prices, which is great and terrific. And you guys like are huge. You're selling just a ton of stuff. I saw the video on your website. Your warehouse is like this.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the size of the DoubleTree. Not quite that big, but like anyhow. How have you found that new customers versus returning customers, are you finding things are different now? I don't know if it's post-COVID or post-iOS apocalypse. Has anything changed for you with returning customers and retention?
Well, I do, you know, we always give a welcome discount, and I'm like, well, I need to keep my clients and I need to reward them for their loyalty. I'm a big fan of what airlines have been doing forever.
Okay.
And so I'm replicating that, because I am hooked to Delta. Like when I was living in Australia, I was hooked to Emirates because of the perks. I will never change that. And so I'm like, I'm already very, you know, we are very good. Our clients come back and it's a good thing. But how can I make them loyal? How can I make them talk about me even more with their friends and have more people coming because of them? So we have launched, obviously, a loyalty program as well. We've got tiers. We are implementing new things for them. As you mentioned earlier, just giving them access before anybody else. Not just a higher discount. That's not always the case, but just a discount before anybody else. Just treat them way better than you would do to your first-time clients, because that's unfair. You come the first time and we treat you like a king, and sometimes we forget about the real kings and queens.
Very good.
Yeah, no.
So you get your hooks in them,
Yes.
and then you make them glad that they're there.
Absolutely, and it's something that you mentioned in your presentation, something we've been doing, talking about Facebook. A way that I've been using Facebook for right now is having sign-up forms ads. So I just advertise how great we are, but sign up. That's a sign-up form so that I can get them into my funnel with Klaviyo, and that's its first-party data, and it's a win-win. So
very good.
I'm very much using, and I love the idea of the quiz. I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Good. A tool I like is called Interact. They're great for building quizzes.
Yeah.
Try interact.com. I don't
I
know if
will.
you know. Anyhow, Steph, skincare, like people won't change once they find it. So you've got, I mean, I guess that's kind of in your favor, but how do you get your hooks in them and like keep them coming back for more?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's something that we're really focused on, especially this year, especially with acquisition costs, you know, getting higher and higher and higher and having to spend more and more, is like, how do we get someone from that first purchase to the second purchase? We've done a lot of research on this in our own customer set, and it's like that drop-off can be a super meaningful part to kind of impact for the business. And so, you know, really providing that best-in-class customer experience through every single touch point. I really resonated with a lot of the other speakers throughout the day, where it's like, is there a seamless checkout, right? Are they getting the experience that they want on site after a purchase? Is it easy returns? Can they get in touch with our customer service team? And I think that, you know, it takes a really honest look at like what we're doing and where we might be failing. And I know that it's, you know, one person said that like a 10-minute response time is best in class. we're nowhere near that. And so like, I think that there's just a lot of opportunities in that in terms of getting that retention rate up and really focusing on kind of bringing that person back into our ecosystem.
I appreciate your humility because I've been watching your brand and I think you do a lot of those things right, more than you're giving yourself credit for. But you kind of led up to this, so I'm going to ask you to spill your guts. Where are you failing? Like, what's just broken for you guys right now? None of us will tell, don't worry. It's not being recorded. Nobody will know.
I see it's recorded. No, I mean, I think that I did like allude to this, right? Is that I do think that our response times could be much better. I am a little neurotic and I will like watch our reviews come through. I'll like check in on our chat transcripts because I'm a crazy person. And it is, people will reach out to us on social, they'll text us and be like, I emailed yesterday and I haven't gotten a response. And so there's these kinds of things that's like, okay, we really gotta like look into this. Is it, you know, the amount of people we have on staff? Is it, you know, bandwidth? Is it a bandwidth issue? Or how can we really get ahead of this? And, you know, I think that other people presented really interesting solutions, like can some of it be automated? Are there standard questions that could just go out immediately so a human doesn't have to respond? And so that's like one big thing I think we could improve on.
Very good. Well, buy Gorgeous. You know, do you guys use Gorgeous? Have you used it before?
Yet.
I know somebody.
The yet.
Christina? No. Very good. A lot of my clients use it and do have a great experience with it. But you're right. Regardless of what tool you use, those are the questions you've got to be answering. Is how can we give somebody an exceptional experience with our brand so that they, I mean, you know, we're really, you know, I talked a little bit about how we're trying to give people an emotional response. Our job, everybody in this room's job is to be like an emotional endorphin rush dealer, right? People will get addicted to the endorphins and the I always want to say Oxycontin, but that's the drug, right? The oxytocin hits.
Very addictive.
Right, right. You know, they're all addictive. And that is so important. And as you do those things that you're talking about, you'll be able to attain more and more of that. So thank you for sharing that. Sophia, what are your opportunities? Where are you guys broken?
Well, clearly, customer service is a massive goal for 2022 for the same reasons. People just expect everything to be done within 15 minutes. Right. And so it's a hiring process, although I've got to say it's difficult to find people who stick to the job. It must be very challenging. Right. I have no patience whatsoever, so I don't know how they cannot just tell everybody to bugger off, realistically. So I admire them, even for the 6 months that they stay with us. So that is a problem, retention of staff. But then automation, for me, it's the goal. I know I am missing opportunities and sales, or, you know, after business hours. In the United States, it's a big country, so when I go to bed in Atlanta, you know, some other people, you know, in Los Angeles are still active, and vice versa. We wake up before everybody. So it's a tricky thing. I know I'm missing on providing customers the experience after business hours during holidays. I'm not expecting staff to work on Thanksgiving or Christmas Day or whatever holiday it is.
Well, you're nice.
And so, no, because it's true, it's family quality time. They're going to, you know, be happier and work even better. So I'm all for it. So I'm not expecting anybody to be on duty on those days, but I need automation. I really need, and so for me, that is paramount.
Yeah, I mean, all those things are so important. I'm trying to think of the questions that everybody, I think I'll open it up to questions here in just a minute. But so if you guys do have some questions, we've got a little bit of time for these women. But I'm interested from each of you, what do you see as the biggest opportunity for growth? I mean, you've talked about some internal things that will help to button up your relationships with your customers and that kind of thing. But we all need new customers, right? We all need to grow, and that's got to happen at the top of the funnel, right? We got to get people in. So what are your biggest opportunities for growth between here and Q4?
Well, for us, for BHFO, which, by the way, it's a fashion outlet, so check it out, because it's like, what is BHFO? So it doesn't even say what we are doing. So branding issue there. But for me, this year, we really want to invest in technology as well, talking about our ecosystem and website. So there is a big project of going headless and a lot of user experience. And thanks to, you know, Alain and Sergio from, you know, Absolute Web, who have been helping us a lot, trying to redefine the look and feel of the website. It's paramount for me to have a way better navigation just to help my clients. I'm investing so much money and time. bringing new eyeballs to the website, and then I'm lacking a fantastic user experience, a user interface. So we want to invest on that.
When you talked about experience and user interface, I noticed that there's a lot of personalization on your site.
Yes.
Are you using like Search Spring? What do you do?
Yes.
Where do you bring personalization into things? Because I think you guys are nailing it on a lot.
So we use two things. Search Spring, I could not live without them. They really allow us to merchandise our pages. Like we did something very nice for Valentine's Day. I know it's so cheesy, but we did really, we merchandise our pages so that when you were landing on a PLP, everything was red and super nice and luxurious. Thinking about, single women, buy for yourself, you don't expect a gift. And also when we do a promotion, we are able to put at the top of the page of a PLP the products that we want to push. They're fantastic. They really help us, even with 0 result searches. I could not live without them. But then we utilize a software called Nosto. Nosto is very much personalization carousels. They even allow us to change the homepage, like based upon the customer who is actually navigating the website, based upon the previous behavior. They understand if it's a male, female. They've been searching for dresses, so they can present different homepages to that user once they come on a second or third time.
So it's like when I go to Amazon and they know what I've been looking at.
Exactly,
so
but it's the entire website
that
that changes. It's not just the carousel.
Awesome.
It is awesome. They are wonderful.
And that's Nosto, N-O-S-T-O?
N-O-S-T-O, yeah.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Highly recommend them.
All right. What about you? Biggest opportunities for growth, Steph?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we could diversify more into programmatic, kind of exploring that. We have also not done a lot of TikTok advertising, which is something I'm really wanting to test. It was kind of a cart before the horse type of situation where we didn't have an organic presence, and so there's no way we could run ads, and so we're starting to build that up. But I do want to mirror kind of the personalization aspect. I know that last year we spent so much time with Sergio and the Absolute Web team. I think Sergio got sick of hearing from me being like, what do you think of this? Can we do this? Kind of a thing.
He and I were talking about you beforehand, but he didn't say that once.
I believe
He actually likes you.
Yeah.
Your website looks fabulous.
It's great.
Thank you.
Looks so good.
So yeah, last year was a big year for us in terms of making updates, making personalization kind of like a really big forefront for us. And so we're really kind of reaping the rewards of that coming into this year. And one of the main things I'll call out, and especially for beauty in my business, is like personalized product recommendations. We're using a company called Automat, and it's really helping us to collect that first-party data. People are opting into our emails. They want to hear from us. They want to get their product recommendations. And especially for our catalog, one of the biggest things is that people often have the question of like, I don't know what to get. I'm confused, which one's better, kind of a thing. And so that has really been helping us kind of get people, once we pay to get them onto the site and, maybe they sign up for our emails, but get them through closer to, bottom of funnel and closer to conversion.
That's awesome.
Yes, I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have in front of you two women who are driving growth for amazing companies. Look at their stuff. Glow Skin Beauty, I just botched it. Glow Skin Beauty, GLO, and BHFO, which I finally learned out I learned what it meant the other night. It's actually an acronym for the Daughters of the Founders, and then Factory Outlet.
Correct.
Very good. Oh. See, I didn't know. I couldn't find it on the website. I looked. They're here. You probably have questions that you'd like to ask somebody in their shoes. So I'd like to invite you to ask them, and I will make them spill their guts. So, ask the real stuff, and they will answer it. What questions do you have for them? Yeah.
Hello, Stefan, GMFC's Corel Essence. Interested to know your strategy around influencers and essentially working with that and how that's meshing into your new ecosystem.
Yeah, I'll go first. So for my purposes, I primarily use influencers for their content. And so for me, it doesn't necessarily have to be like a mega huge star influencer. For me, actually, the micro influencers are just as effective because I run their content through ads, and I usually splice it together with many different influencers kind of in that UGC feel. And so it's less, for me, leaning into their reputation. Yes, they do repost their content that they create, and that has some sort of halo effect, but I primarily am using influencers just strictly for content.
I love it. And Sophia, I'm guessing influencers are hard for you because you keep stuff for such a short time.
Yes, but also because being a multi-brand retailer, sometimes if I give products to an influencer, maybe they're saying, oh yeah, you see, I'm wearing this beautiful blouse by Ralph Lauren. and they forget to mention BHFO.
Right.
Right.
And so I'm like, okay, that was free advertisement for Love Lauren. We didn't need that. So it's pretty complicated. And also, it really goes down to budget. It has changed. And I understand their point of view. Now they're charging me an arm and a leg for a story. Right. And I'm like, really, I can't. So I'd rather give those money to put those money some. But I know it's paramount. I need to. But thank God I've got I've got Shayna and the girls helping me finding the right partners, because I don't have time. It's really complicated, and like I need diverse. I want to have a diverse audience. I want somebody that's a mom. I want somebody that is this beautiful entrepreneur. I want somebody that is 18 years old and somebody is 45. I don't have time to see who can fit my brand, but also they are picky, and so they say, "Oh, you have to have an amazing organic presence," and I go, I'm paying you, lady. So seriously. Right? So it gets annoying. And so I'm like, yep, just give me my Google Ads, and probably, it's working differently, but it's very picky and I told you I'm not patient. So, yeah.
Very good. Next question.
Affiliate programs, are you guys finding success with those? Are they still relevant in the new space?
Very much. It's a very profitable channel. We use Impact. My previous company used Awin. Again, you need to be very careful. Like we had a partnership with Honey. Gosh, take that away from me because of what they were just saying that was happening to us. And so bounce rate was out the roof. So you really have to be careful who you choose to work with. But no, for me, it's working very well.
Yeah. We actually also use Impact, and the exact same thing with Honey. And so that was a lot of similarities there. We've also recently transitioned into a Bolt checkout, and so they have kind of a new pilot program where they have native partnerships with publishers like Bustle, kind of like these main publishers, where you can do on-page checkout, where it's like they do. I'm someone who's very technical is going to be like, you have no idea what you're talking about, but they essentially like send a bot to your site, so it's like your customer. The bot checks out on behalf of the customer, but the customer never has to leave Bustle, for example. And so it's like immediate in the moment purchase. And so really excited to kind of see how that's going to come to fruition. That's like just happening right now. And so I think that is really where we can find some efficiencies, because we've been looking for a way to really break into the editorial side of things and like being in the moment with, top 10 lists in Vogue and things like that. And so I'm super excited about that opportunity.
Very cool. Next question. Yeah.
From a data analytics perspective, in D2C, there's so much data available. You have Shopify, Google Analytics, Klaviyo. I'm curious to perform advanced cohort analysis, other things. What tools are you using to be able to understand what's right from wrong and what's actually going on within the business?
That's a $1 million question, actually. That's exactly what we were talking about. If somebody here now can tell me what I could use, please let me sign for that. It's a struggle. It is really a struggle, but that goes back to the attribution conversation. Last click, first click. Even when you present reports to the owners for an awareness campaign, revenue is not the first KPI, but all they want is revenue. So how can I track that down, really, and just say, this is a first-time customer, and it's very complicated. So it's right now it's a mess. I used to have Google Analytics was my jam. It still is, but we use something then called Domo. But because we are not only on our .com, we are on Amazon. We've got 7 trillion marketplaces, and so that helps gathering all data. Do I use it personally? Not really, because for me it's all about the .com. But yeah, it's complicated. It's really complicated. But if you know something, please send me an email.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking for that answer as well. And so, if anybody has it.
What platform are you on?
A bunch of, from Dacity to Pill, Faraday, if you're doing the cohort analysis. So I just glue a little bit, but it found a little too superficial. So it's
yeah, it is hard, and it kind of has to be built for your custom stack. If you're using something like Klaviyo, I would encourage you to just put as much data into it as you can, because then you can process the data afterward, and it kind of brings it together with your CRM, which will help were they a new customer, were they all those questions. It's hard. Yeah, I'm with you.
So
Next question. Yeah.
Do you fill any of your e-commerce roles or technical developer side in-house?
No, I use them. 100%.
Yeah.
Without them, couldn't do anything.
Yeah, we had previously had in-house development and then transitioned into Absolute Web Services. Yeah, I mean, we had to undertake a massive, transition into Magento 2, which just frankly, it was too much for one person to undertake, right? And so we really needed the expertise. And not to mention that our website serves so many different varieties of customers. We have a predominant amount of our business is in B2B. And so like different catalogs, different pricing, there's just so many nuances that have to be perfect. And so it was just so much work. And so we needed more resources.
Very cool. Yeah.
So I checked out both of your Instagram pages, and I didn't see on either a way to buy directly from the Instagram. I know that on Shopify, you're seeing that more and more. They have a tight integration with Facebook Pay and with the Facebook ecosystem with Instagram. I'm wondering if there are any plans for that, since that's kind of part of this whole new trend with social commerce.
100%. So we just hired somebody to do that. So we're now, she starts, thankfully, on March 1st. So that is something that would be Q2, and yeah, definitely, great question.
I love it, yeah. And we're on Magento, which has some complications in terms of that integration. And we have been speaking with a Facebook rep continuously for the last several months just to try to understand like how we can do that, because we did try to just be like, okay, let's launch it, but then it had no way of connecting into our fulfillment center. And so it's like, we have an order. Yay, what do we do? And so that quickly became an issue, as you can imagine. And so, and yeah, they essentially told us, like, there was a beta, it's now closed. And so, good luck. And so, we're kind of going back and forth on them with that.
If not, I have one more for her. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys use a specific return platform or anything that you feel has been beneficial to help return your business?
We recently signed up with Returnly. We virtually started a couple of months ago, 3 months ago. So I believe it's a little bit earlier for me to say, but I believe they look good, everything is going smoothly, so I really hope it will help, because I can't see her, but the presentation from Signified, that is what's happening to us. People are really bad, and the behavior that she was mentioning, it's exactly what's happening to us. So our return rate is skyrocketed through, after the pandemic, and so it's a problem for us. It's a cost. It's a very high cost, and so we are really working on whatever we can do to reduce that.
And please join me in giving a warm thank you to these two lovely ladies.